Today we're here with Stacey Wiley, Secretary of SPCA of Livingston. Hi Stacey, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to be here. So tell me, what exactly is SPCA and what do y'all do?
SPCA of Livingston is a completely in-home foster program. We rescue from a lot of different places around the state, and our dogs are completely fostered in homes. They become part of these families until they're adopted, and that's where they stay until they're adopted.
So in general, where would you say most of your rescues come from? What kind of situation?
We pull from kill shelters all over the state. We have a lot of directors that will reach out to us specifically that have owner surrender dogs or stray dogs that basically their time is up. If we don't take them, if we don't pull them from these kill shelters, then they won't live another day.
Okay. I heard, and I wasn't aware of this and don't know if it's true or not, so maybe you could answer that owner surrender dogs were usually the highest priority on the kill list at the shelters. They go first.
Exactly right, because when the stray comes in, they are required to hold that stray for at least 10 days to make sure that the owner has time to find the dog at the facility. If an owner comes in and says, hey, I don't want this dog anymore, and they don't have room, that dog may go straight to euthanasia.
Wow.
Because they know no one's going to claim it.
So what would you guess would be, say, the top 3 reasons an owner might give for surrendering their dogs?
The reasons that they give are things like, we're moving and we can't take the dog, or we have a new baby, or we just found out we're pregnant, or we got new furniture.
So that would bring up the behavior problems.
Maybe it may not even be a behavior problem. They just decided they don't want a dog on their furniture anymore, or
shedding issues.
Yeah, or somebody's allergic. They've had the dog for 6 years, and all of a sudden someone develops an allergy, or what's another one that they? Our job schedule changed. We don't have time for the dog anymore.
How do you get a lot of behavior problem dogs that come in?
We do get a few behavior problem dogs. We just take in what we don't know a lot about the dogs when we get them, and we'll take on anything. If we do have a problem, we'll try to work with the dog, whether it be just with our foster doing some training or just, basic things. If it's really bad, then we'll reach out to a professional trainer to help us out with it. It usually doesn't come to that, but a lot of times, like if the adopter wants to return the dog, this dog is in my house and it's doing this behavior, then we'll most definitely start referring to professional trainers, as opposed to just saying, okay, well, we'll take the dog back. Because the dog, there's obviously a reason they wanted the dog in the first place. So we try to encourage them to keep them and work through that.
Okay. How long do the dogs typically stay in foster, or how long are they allowed to stay in foster?
They're allowed to stay until they're adopted.
Okay. What is your adoption process and timeline? So the dog's in foster, and then a prospective...
They'll either send us an online application if they've seen the dog on our Facebook page or on petfinder.com. Most of our adoptions are done in person, though, at our adoption events. They'll come to our event, they do a written application, we interview them, just talk to them, try to get a feel, and if they're approved, they can take their dog home that day.
Oh, cool. What should a prospective pet parent consider when they're trying to decide, should I adopt or should I purchase from a breeder?
Cost, for one thing, and temperament. Our dogs have been with families, especially if they're looking for a puppy. These puppies may have been born in our care, and they have been handled and loved and treated as a pet from day one. Whereas sometimes when you buy from a breeder, that puppy may have been born in a whelping box in the back of somebody's, breeder room. Not a lot of human interaction, not a lot of attention, and so you just don't know what kind of temperament, you're going to get, as well as the cost associated with purchasing a full breed dog, you're going to spend hundreds of dollars on this puppy that may have had a set of shots. From SPCA, our adoption fee is typically around $150. Our dogs are all up to date on their age-appropriate shots. They've been dewormed, they've been defleed, they've gotten their monthly heartworm preventive, they've all been altered, spayed or neutered, they've had vet care, and that's the thing, we don't just take in healthy, pretty little dogs, we take in everything.
Now, most of your funding comes from donations.
All of our funding
comes from donations.
Private donations and adoption fees, that's what keeps us going.
And y'all get that basically Facebook, advertising, a lot of social media.
A lot of social media. At our events, we just have people that'll come up and, make a donation sometimes.
So we've covered the funding, it's donations. Y'all pretty much take whatever you feel needs rescuing.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Whatever you have room for. There's a shortage of big dog fosters, you said.
Yes.
And that's just, what do you think that is? Is that lack of room, or like you 2 years ago, people may have been afraid of them?
I think it's lack of space. I mean, we even tried to foster a bigger dog, and she stayed with us a year. We thought we were going to keep her. And she eventually found a home, but it was a lot. It was a lot to take on for us personally. But I don't know. I don't know why we don't have more people who are willing to take on the big dog fosters.
And all of your fosters are based in the Livingston, Denham Springs, that area, or are they spread out?
We have them kind of all over. We have in the Livingston area. We have a lot of fosters in Baton Rouge. We even have, I think, a recent foster from Kenner. But she's willing to make the drive and bring the foster back and forth to events. So
that's good.
We'll take everything we can get when it comes to fosters.
Now, if somebody does foster, what exactly do they pay for? I mean, are they...
Nothing.
They pay for nothing?
Nothing.
So y'all still pay for everything?
We provide the food, the vet care, any medications. If the dog needs grooming, anything that the dog needs, SPCA takes care of.
Now, you mentioned earlier y'all do the vetting, making sure all the medical and the fleas, reworming. What about microchips? Are the dogs microchipped, or is that up to the adopter?
It's up to the adopter. We offer a microchip voucher for an additional $20 to their adoption fee. We just found that was the most economical way for us to offer a microchip option.
And probably keep the adoption cost down a little?
Right. Okay. It's expensive to get that started and to keep it going. So we just got with a couple of our vets, and they agreed to do it at a certain price, and then we can offer it to the adopters that way.
Okay. So, Stacey, is there anything else you wanted to let our viewers know about SPCA and what y'all need, what y'all do? Just anything that you would like to inform our viewers?
The donations are important to us. Our adoption fee is $150. Whether we, get a dog that's up to date on shots, neutered, ready to go, or whether we get a dog that needs a hip surgery or a lot of medical attention, or they come in with mange all over their entire body and it takes us months to get them healthy. We do it.
And the vet bills are not cheap.
Right. No, the vet bills are not cheap. They do not pay themselves. Vet care is not free, even for a rescue. So
even for rescues. All right, Stacey. Well, that's all.
Thank you so much.
Unless there's something else you want to add.
I think that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Dogs. Today we want to talk about timing. Timing in training is probably one of the most important things to master so that you can effectively communicate with your dog what it is you're trying to get them to do or not. If we want to reinforce a positive behavior, we want to make sure that we mark the behavior immediately that we want to reoccur in the future and give the reward immediately after marking the behavior. On the other hand, if there's a behavior that you don't want to occur again, you need to make sure that you mark that behavior as a negative behavior with an or whatever to let your dog know immediately that that's not what you're asking for. I hear people say all the time about, my dog chewed this up and he knew he was guilty. When I came home, the pillows were tore up and my dog knows better. Well, when your dog gets that guilty look, your dog is not thinking, I chewed up the pillows. The dog is thinking, my owner's face looks mad, my owner's voice looks or sounds irritated. They are reacting to you. They're not expressing guilt over something that occurred hours ago that they no longer remember that they did. A dog lives in the now. They don't live in what happened 2 hours ago. Let me give you this example. If your dog soils the carpet, the best thing to do is nothing at all. Clean it up, go on about your day. There's 2 reasons why. Number 1, if you fuss at the dog hours after it when you actually discover the incident, the dog no longer has a clue why you're fussing at him 2 hours later when he didn't do anything then to get fussed at. Reason number 2, if you fuss at him while he's in the act, what it's going to teach them is not to do that in front of you. So now they're going to go slink away in another room and do it. My pet peeve, rubbing the nose in it? No, all that's going to teach your dog is, I can't pee on this spot. But you know what? I can go pee on this spot. It's completely different spots. Your dog doesn't associate it with the same room or inside versus outside. If you're going to use rewards in dog training, it's very important to mark the good behavior that you want to happen over and over again immediately and then offer your reward. Offering that reward right then tells your dog a very important message. Doing good gets me treats, gets me affection, gets me a toy, lets me play my favorite game. Whatever it is you're using as a reward, immediately after good behavior, your dog will start associating that good behavior with that treat, and that is what you want him to do. And on the flip side, if we wait too late to offer a reward, then what we're actually doing is rewarding the incorrect behavior. For example, if you have your dog sit and then you get distracted, you don't see the sit, therefore you don't mark it, good boy, or click, and you don't treat them, you're over here talking to Joe, and then next thing you know, your dog done sat and got up, and then you turn around and say, good boy, and gave him a treat. What exactly did you just praise? It wasn't the sit. You praised the get up and running around when you weren't paying attention. So you have to, especially in training, pay attention to your dog. It takes about 15 minutes a day, or maybe even twice a day. If you can spend 15 minutes with your dog in the morning, put him through his paces. Sit. Good boy, here's a treat. Down. Good boy, here's a treat. Go through them. Sit. Down. Stay. Come. You can do this for your dog's entire life. Every now and then go through the paces to reinforce what the dog knows. There are 2 ways that you can instantly reinforce the behavior you want, even if you're not in a training segment. Now, most of us have heard about clicker training. I think it's a great tool. I personally don't use it because I don't always carry a clicker with me. What I do have is, all right, yay, I have my voice. So your voice can be a marker. An ink pen can be a marker. Clicker, you can use anything as a marker. I'm a voice trainer. That's what I have on me. That's what I'm going to use spur of the moment all the time. So I can understand the popularity of clickers, and I have used them. I've had clients request them, and I think they're an awesome tool. I did have a viewer ask me about correction, said when he's training his dog, it seems like he's correcting over and over and over again, and then only rewarding maybe once out of 5 times. Here's the thing. If you don't have an 8-to-2 ratio, then you need to go back to kindergarten. That's my philosophy. If you have more than 2 corrections in the 10 times you did that command, then you need to go back to kindergarten. And basically that just means go back to the very beginning of that behavior and teach your dog how to do it your way. Again, step by step, because too many corrections, just like us, we don't like to be corrected all the time. The dog will eventually get frustrated as well and shut down. I guess the main point here basically is be consistent. And eventually you do want to phase out the rewards. That way you're not using them for the entirety of the dog's life. You can start rewarding every other sit, every 3rd sit. Mix up a pattern there, because believe it or not, dogs are smart enough to figure out the patterns. Reward every other sit now, and then the 5th sit later. Every sit for a few, and then the 10th one. It's up to you. Switch it up, but eventually that reward, especially if you're using food, can be replaced with a good girl or a head pat or a favorite toy. So we still want to watch that healthy weight. We still want to train our dogs to do what we want them to do. If you have any questions, you can always call me. My number's on the screen. You can email me. But hold on. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Dogs. Today we're here with Sean and his lovely lady, Sky. How you doing, Sky? So, Sean, tell me a little bit about Sky.
Well, we suspect that she's part pit, part lab. We got her from the pound.
Okay. And has she had any type of formal training?
I mean, she's been trained somewhat by us.
You had asked a question earlier about clicker training.
Right.
Are you familiar with clickers at all? Have you ever used them?
I get the concept, sort of. You click it and kind of like rewards them.
Okay. Clicker. This is your typical clicker. They come in many varieties, available at your local pet store, but it's very simple to use. First, to get your dog acclimated to a clicker, you have those treats on you I gave you?
Yeah. Sky, come here.
Okay.
There you go.
That's it. Sky!
Sky, come here.
To get a dog used to the clicker at first and what it might mean, you want to grab her leash, please. Keep her still. Sky! You want to click and reward. That way she knows every time that she hears that click, she gets a reward.
Right.
And then later when we start training her, Sky! Good girl. Then when we actually start with the training and she performs her task correctly, you click it and she knows, oh, I did it right.
Right.
Now where's my reward?
Right.
So first step is just free treats. Click and treat. Then she starts to associate click with treat.
She's really good at that.
I see that. She has no hesitation with that whatsoever. So I'm going to hand these treats right back to you, and then I'm going to give you the clicker.
All right.
So you get her acclimated to the clicker. Remember, click, treat. And that's how we'll get her started with it.
So, what are we going to start with?
Just click and treat.
Okay.
Do that a couple times.
Sky.
Okay, now get her to sit.
Sky, sit.
Okay.
Sit. All right. Now, get up. Oh, let's shake. Yeah. That usually comes after sit, huh? No.
Now you just rewarded her
For being bad.
for being bad.
Yes. All right.
Okay, there's a saying
Good
in
job.
training, you get what you reward.
Right.
If you reward bad
Bad, you'll get
behavior,
bad.
you're going to get bad behavior. Okay, so she was told to shake at that point and she chose to lay down.
Right.
Let's see if you can just get her to sit.
All right. Sit. So I think that
Okay,
I did it too
you
soon.
clicked when you gave the command. You didn't give her time to obey
Right.
the command.
Right.
The click goes off when that butt hits the ground.
Okay.
All right?
Let's try that again.
Well, did you treat her?
No, because I messed up.
It doesn't matter. She didn't. You did, not her.
Good job, girl. All right. Sky, sit. Good job.
Good girl.
Now shake. No, shake. I don't think she actually knows shake. She just knows sit and then shake. She knows the order.
She knows the order, which is another thing that you want to work with in training too. Always
Shake.
keep your dog's attention on you.
She understands the hand signal too,
And
apparently.
that's fine. Hand signals are very
Shake.
useful.
There we go. Good job.
You didn't click or
I
treat.
didn't. I click as I give the food? No, that's not necessary.
No.
Okay.
The click means the food's coming. The click means she did something right.
Okay.
If you click her for doing it right and then you click again to give the food, there's no meaning. You take away the meaning.
I'm starting to get it now.
From that
makes
click.
sense. Okay.
So the click has to be done with precision timing.
I see.
And there you go. If you don't click that clicker when she does it, I'm going to beat you with it.
All right. What are we going to do next, Guy?
How does she heel? How does she walk on leash?
I'll show you. Come here, girl. She likes to get ahead of you.
Back this way. But you know what? She stays with the leash loose.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yep.
There's a difference between loose leash walking and heeling. Heeling can actually be stressful on a dog if you do it for too long.
Right.
And I think most people think heel. When you take your dog for a walk in a heel, the dog has to stay at your left leg, shoulder to leg, the entire walk. And that's not what heel is designed for. Heel is if you have a person walking by you and you need your dog under control and close to you, you put your dog in a heel. If there's a distraction, another dog, a squirrel, anything, make your dog heel. Don't use heel for more than 15 minutes at a time, and even that's pushing it because it is a very precision command. Loose leash walking is what most dog owners want. It just means your dog is walking companionably alongside of you. The leash is loose. They're not pulling you. They're not directing the walk.
Right.
You're still directing the walk, and they're paying attention to you where you want to go, which is the key.
She is a good dog. My other dog, Odie, is older. He's stubborn. He's yanking the leash almost the whole way.
Okay. And what do you do when he does that?
Well, I mean, I can control him. I just tell him heel, and if I bother, I can get him under control. But it takes so much willpower. Sometimes I just let him.
You just let him.
Right.
So when you have a cousin, niece, or little kid that decides, can I take your puppy for a walk?
I don't let him take that one for a walk. I say, take this one.
Okay. But even so, if you let him pull you, he's going to pull anybody else.
Right.
Consistency. So if pulling is not allowed with anybody, then it's not allowed with you.
Right. Makes sense.
All right. And that is our training session today.